wherever she's been in her music career, Nicki has always been very, she's always had quite an aggressive stance towards the status quo in the music industry. And that seems to be the massive piece of context that was completely lost by everybody when it came to Queen. Welcome back to my channel. This is another No Ghostwriter video. Follow no_ghostwriter on Twitter and Instagram for 24/7 rap and hip hop talk. And also make sure that you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment if you like what I'm about to talk about today. So today I'm gonna be reacting to Queen by Nicki Minaj, the queen of rap. And I'm basically gonna be discussing how apparently everybody seems to be asleep when it comes to this album. Every time I've gone onto YouTube and I've looked for some people's hot takes on Queen, I'm just trying to understand why everybody thinks that Queen was an industry album when Queen was an anti-industry album. And I also don't understand why nobody seems to get the whole concept of the Queen radio platform and what she was doing with that album. And because of the fact that no one seemed to be listening when it came to Queen, we're here 2 years later where Nicki's gearing up to do pretty much the same thing she did with Queen, which is put the entire industry on blast, call out the misogyny in rap and hip hop, and basically establish her complete division from the approval of men. And because you will miss that, we're gonna get back into it. I want to first of all shout out all of the Barbz for showing me crazy love in my last video that I did on Nicki reaching #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. You guys are amazing. I had 1,000 views in just 4 days, which was insane for me. And I've noticed that a lot of people are watching me from America, so I just want to shout out all of my Barbz in the United States, and also shout out all of my UK Barbz too, because we're here. So if you're repping from the US or from the UK, please comment below. And if you're repping Nicki from anywhere else in the world, let me know, because we all know the Queen has international reach. So let's just start with what the Queen album was. The Queen album was Nicki's 4th studio album, and what's crazy about Queen is that it should have been dropped in 2017.
Most of these dudes is really quite soft. 45 special, this is my cloth. About to drop an album, this is my 4th.
But it seemed to be there was so much distraction, there was so much going on with people who had their own personal issues with Nicki around that time that no one actually paid attention to what she was saying. Everyone seemed to care so much more about what was going on around her and what people were saying about her rather than what she was saying about herself. And definitely as a Nicki fan, I saw that there was a kind of a silence from her from around 2017 until we got the Queen rollout, which really started in April 2018 with Chun-Li and Barbie Tings. And I understand where a lot of that silence came from. A lot of that silence came from the fact that so much of what she was having to do was to completely reassess and reanalyze who she trusted. And what she said to Zane Lowe on Beats One on Apple Music when she released Chun-Li and Barbie Tings was that there was a period of her life where she completely shut off from everyone. She changed her phone number. She basically went into hiatus for real.
I wanted to, I didn't want to see anything. You know, I wasn't only not posting, but I also took all forms of social media off my phone, and it actually was the most genius decision I've ever made for myself as a human being, because it gave me peace, and it gave me it put my focus back on what it needed to be on, which is the music. When I was doing mixtapes, I wasn't on Instagram. I'm not like these artists that are out now that have the luxury of, you know, Instagram. You know, Twitter was just like starting off, you know? Yeah. So I was like, you know what, why am I including this information taking this information into my spirit? I don't need to see what people are saying about me. I don't need to know what people are saying about anything, really.
Were you jacked in to social media? Did it take you a minute to disconnect from that? Because people say it's hard to put the phone down, it takes a couple of days.
I don't know. I mean, like, I changed my number, came on social media, you know, you know, stopped speaking to everybody and just focused on music. And
what percentage of your phone book got your new number? What percentage?
What percentage?
Yeah.
I would say 1%.
1% got your new number. Wow.
Yeah, 1%.
Wow. So
Because I only spoke to people as needed, you know? So it went from 5 people at first to, oh, okay, my publicist now today, you know, he needs to talk to me. He'll get the number today. Like, now, you know, it's still like, I mean, at this point, I would say it's about maybe 20% now.
And Nicki's hiatus was a massive moment for her fans because for the first time in a long time, we suddenly had absolutely no contact with our fave, and she went completely underground. But it didn't mean that she stopped being the topic of the conversation. So much of the Barbz time whilst Nicki was silent was spent fighting for her, literally online. If there were conversations where people were being derogatory about Nicki, the Barbz were in the comments.
How did the Barb thing, and you're looking back on it, like, why is this? We've seen other fan movements, but this obviously seems very strong and very special and very consistent, almost to the point that sometimes they step out of control. And now, do you bear any responsibility from when they do that, in your viewpoint?
Well, when my fans and I first started interacting on Twitter, I used to tell them, do not drag people. I used to unfollow them if they dragged people and if they were mean to people. However, it's but so much my fans can take. It's like if you fuck with somebody and you keep on seeing people lying on them and hurting them and not giving them their props, you would be mad too. And my fan base is not like a fan base. We like family. I always say that.
Everything about Queen very much said to me that it's important that you show love. It's so important that you show love because for years, for over a decade, Nicki's just existed in this space where people don't like to show her love. And when Queen dropped, it was very much against the backdrop of massive amounts of disrespect. And I just don't understand, why should she tolerate so much disrespect from people? Why should she tolerate people acting like it's a mistake that she is where she is? Because even in the 2 years since Queen dropped, you know, the general population, you know, the general hip-hop heads or the general blogs, the general radios, you know, pop culture, everyone said that Nicki was over and done. But she's dominating. She's dominating every chart. She's dominating every time. The same artists that you said was supposedly supposed to finish her aren't here, and Nicki still is, and this is 2 years after Queen. And in the Billboard Hot 100 video, the most recent one where I talked about Nicki going #1, again, we talked about how the Barbz did that without industry support. And Queen got no industry support. Queen got nothing. And it still hit #2 on the Billboard 200. Like, this is the thing. No matter how much disrespect people give to Nicki, she prevails each and every time. And I think that just shows that you've got to show love. And the Barbz, no matter what people say about the Barbz, oh, they're crazy, they're this and that, the Barbz show love. That's what's rooted in this fan base. It's love. It's genuine, pure love towards a woman that many of us have never met, and yet she's managed to touch all of us in a serious way. And that's what it's about. That's what being a Barb is about. It's about the love. It's about the community. It's about the fact that this woman has shared so much of herself, and we've listened. And because we've listened, she's been able to navigate over a decade in an industry that's shown her no love. The Barbz were really making sure that no amount of negative coverage around Nicki was gonna actually stop them from standing up for her. Just because it was uncool to like Nicki Minaj didn't mean that we were gonna stop liking Nicki Minaj, and I definitely found myself doing that. So many people seem to adopt these very lazy stereotypes of Nicki, and it really goes to show the fact that above all else, rap and hip hop is a misogynistic, patriarchal industry, and then you put on top of that the fact that it's a business, then you've got the general, you know, traditional power structures of the music industry. People always talk about Hollywood and its power structures. There's no reason why the music industry should be different, and it isn't in reality. And that's what you find a lot of the time with Nicki Minaj, is she has a consistent theme of trying to be the person that calls the industry out for what it is. So when it came to streaming, when artists were losing money because streaming platforms were putting their songs and basically giving them no money, Nicki was there advocating for artists' rights and rights to be creating money and revenue from their streams. And also she was advocating for streams to be counted towards sales. So for streams to be counted towards artists' different, so for streams to be recognized when artists are going platinum and so on.
Oh, and let me not, and the women, the contemporary women, Nicki Minaj, I don't know how many of you guys know about what she's done for streaming rights.
So wherever she's been in her music career, Nicki has always been very, she's always had quite an aggressive stance towards the status quo in the music industry. And that seems to be the massive piece of context that was completely lost by everybody when it came to Queen. And I feel very much that if you listen to Queen, if you really listen to Queen and you look at the lyrics, then you see that this is a serious album where she's talking about some really serious things. Artists don't survive like that for no reason. And that's why, you know, I'm so proud to stand. As I've said, I will always stand. Because if you look at what it means to have a black woman worth $100 million in that kind of an industry, and she owns her own masters, and she owns her own publishing, she didn't sign a 360, that's insane. That's powerful. That's powerful. It's powerful that you've got a woman with that kind of range. Because if you think about it, you know, Asian Doll's got this very funny line when she says, I got these bitches scared like a 360 or something like that. A 360 deal is one where you don't own your own rights to your music. And I think the significance of Nicki being a figure in the rap industry is that she is proof that as female rappers, you own your own masters. You can own your own publishing. You can own your own career.
process into that decision. And you know, I'm sorry for the people that are kind of waiting to see Nicki Minaj on that crazy next level, but everything, you know, great is worth waiting for, so they gotta wait a little bit. And we're working on it now. I've actually started doing tracks for my album, so just because I haven't signed to that major yet, or I haven't chosen a major, because they've definitely been bidding, doesn't mean that I'm just like not working. I'm working on great album material, and you'll hear it really soon. Female rapper deal is a slouch ass deal that, you know, they expect you to just, you know, kind of almost like be a slave, you know, and not have any say so in your business, and not have any self-worth. And someone like Nicki Minaj, I just know that I just know my worth, and unfortunately you can't tell me that I'm not worth that for them, unfortunately for them. So in the past, females have really gotten the short end of the stick, of course, and it's not been a good thing, because later on they're scrambling. And I know females that was getting, you know, they were popular, and now they can't even book a show, and you know, you have bills. So I just want to line myself up to the point where I don't have those issues. You know, I don't have those issues 10 years from now, because I put the business side first, and everything else will fall into place.
And think about it. If you use your brain, there's a reason why the industry doesn't love an artist like Nicki Minaj. Because Nicki Minaj is proof that you can be successful without exploitation and exploitative practices from within the industry. Like Nicki said when it came to pickle juice, you know? You go for the pickle juice, all they're gonna offer you is pickle juice.
I put quality in what I do. I spend time and I spend energy and I spend effort and I spend everything I have, every fiber of my being to give people quality. So if I turn up to a photo shoot and you got a $50 clothes budget and some sliced pickles on a board, you wanna know what? No, I am gonna leave. Is that wrong? For wanting more for myself, wanting people to treat me with respect? But you know what? Next time they know better. But had I accepted the pickle juice, I would be drinking pickle juice right now.
And so many female rappers are being offered pickle juice and are being duped into taking the pickle juice because someone's in their ear telling them that they're gonna beat Nicki Minaj. But just by doing that, you've adopted the crabs in a bucket mentality that she's rapped about before. You know? Bitches is like crabs in a bucket. You see a bad bitch getting shine, you should love it. Cause every time a door opens up for me, that means you just got a better opportunity to do you. They don't understand these labels, look at numbers and statistics. I win, I lose, you lose, mine's just logistics. Anyway, real bitches listen when I'm speaking. Cause if Nicki win, then all of y'all getting meetings. There's a reason why she said that, and there's a reason why someone like Nicki is a massive opponent to a music industry that's built the way it is. Because the music industry, in order to maintain the status quo and in order to continue to profit as much as it can from artists, needs artists to believe that they can't be successful unless they sign an exploitative deal. So when you've got an artist that is a direct opposite to that and proves that no, in fact, you can be successful and you don't need to sign an exploitative deal, why would you want an artist like that around? This is what it's all about. It's about being authentic, being true. And I think Queen was very much an authentic, true album. And it was an album like that for a majority of reasons. First of all, because where Nicki was making commentary on contemporary events, she was doing so in a way that was powerful, in a way that was honest. It was also because where she put songs together on the album, she had put pretty much her favorites of the songs that she'd been making since she was supposed to drop that album in 2017. She had, I think it was a 4-year gap, yeah, because she dropped the Pink Print in 2014 and Queen didn't come out until 2018. And that's coming from a woman who's very capable of dropping an album every 6 months. So she made that decision to put those songs in from previous cuts of her work, from a previous time. And that's the thing that people miss about Queen. Queen isn't an album that was recorded all in 2018. Queen is an album with songs and concepts and lyrics from as far back as 2016 and before that. So when you think about the composition of Queen in that way, what's Queen really about? And that's why I think everybody has missed the fact that Queen isn't just, oh, in 2018, how did Queen do? What was the public saying about Nicki? That's not what Queen is about. I think Queen is very much about where Nicki saw herself throughout the years and a restatement of herself. And I think the key takeaways from Queen are, first of all, that Nicki is very tired of industry bullshit and she's very much aware of how the industry is trying to replicate her. Two, that Nicki is very much over the male gaze, male influence, and male importance and relevance to her career. She's moving towards a space where it doesn't really matter what men think about her. She's moved beyond that, especially with her personal relationships. Nicki has very much moved away from some of the very notable public relationships she's had with different men in the rap and hip hop space. And thirdly, I think Queen is Nicki's most free-form album. It's a freestyle album, with the exception of the songs that had already been laid in the majority of the part before 2018. Pretty much every other song you hear on the album was a freestyle that she did about a week before the album was due. So it's a freestyle album, and I think for that reason you see Nicki being very free, very liberal, and I love it. I think that she's done an excellent job. And I always said this, and this was something that was echoed by a lot of people. Queen was not appreciated when it was dropped, but in years to come, more and more people will understand exactly what Nicki did with Queen. And I think Nicki really did something exceptional with that album. And like I said, I was so excited when it dropped, and I'm still excited about it today. So yeah. If you enjoyed this video, follow no_ghostwriter on Twitter and Instagram for 24/7 rap and hip hop talk. And if you want me to do more rap reaction videos and breakdown discussion videos, then comment below and tell me exactly what you want me to record. I love to hear from you guys and listen to what you want me to do for you. So please make sure that you comment. Alright guys, peace out, and I'll see you in the next video. Shout out to Nicki Minaj, the queen of rap.